Well, good morning. We're going to talk about a couple of things today. I got a couple of goats who are due with babies, and I gotta see if they're ready. However, the thing that I'm not excited about is going into the goat pen. The weather has been so terrible. It can't decide if it's winter. It can't decide if it's spring. None of that. So I feel kind of bad if the goats start going into labor. This is the muck that they got to give birth in. But we're going to talk about a couple of things. I got a labor and delivery room ready, and I'm not sure if this dog house is any good for the dogs because the floor on it is terrible. And I'm just going to tell you how I do it. So there's different ways of checking for goats when they're due, or when they're ready to. Oh, what's that? Why is that out like that? When they're due for babies, and when they're ready to go into labor, and kind of get a timeline. In the years that I've owned goats, it has been kind of an interesting factor. Like you think you know, but then you really don't. You just kind of guesstimate within a couple of days. I've had a few went into labor. I'm just trying to look at this chicken thing situation happening. I've had a few girls who I thought were ready to go into labor, and then they took forever. And then there's a few who had ligaments that told us, oh, you have a few days, and they'd have that baby that night, you know? So anyway, hey, stop it. Hey, leave that chicken alone. All right, I gotta take care of these chickens. Oh, okay, I know. So I've had these chickens locked up for some time so they could heal their wings. And I let them out to browse just to kind of start introducing the chickens again. However, I'm going to put them back into their small cage because I really like them. I don't want them to get hurt. You can see this one is healing a lot more. So I'm hoping that they're doing good. I got food and water for them. Everything they need. I just introduced them a little bit, and then one started getting pecked at, and I'm like, oh, I gotta go get them again. So, however, they're healing up, and they're gonna be just fine. You guys wanna see my eggs? 4 eggs. I want more. But she's the one that we're gonna put up for sale. Everest! Stop it. So, I'm gonna show you on the labor and delivery room that I have for my goats when they're ready to go. Of course, the weather has been just awful. But I'm also going to show you how we check to see how close they are. There is a couple of things that I want to have in place for the goats to make sure that they are successful and they have enough to replenish after they give birth. As any mom out there, after you deliver a baby, you're kind of hungry. At least I was. I don't know. I had 4 kids, and I'm like, hey, I haven't eaten for 24 to 48 hours, or 9 hours, or if you get lucky, 2 or 3 hours. But you get hungry. You want a snack. You want to eat. So, and typically the moms are very hungry. So let's check our moms, yeah? Okay, all right. Let's see if we can, oh my gosh. I'm putting this camera up, and all I feel is my boots just sinking in to the yuck. Ugh. This weather, I swear. Oh, you hear that? Just slush everywhere. everywhere. Stop. Get down. Oh my God. Stop it. Get down. Down. Okay. Hey. Stop it. What are you guys doing? Okay.
Alright, you want to check the ligaments?
This is one that's close. And I typically like to check.
Wagner's like, what you doing to my wife?
I don't feel the ligaments.
Here,
Here, you test. You look.
Can you take off my glove? Mom, can you take off my gloves? Yeah. Guys, stop eating my hand! Sam, stop eating!
I just can't feel them.
I'm trying to feel them. Well, Sam.
Get out of here. Oh, gross. My camera just fell in the yucky mud. That's really gross. Hold on. Ugh. What I do is I check for ligaments. And it's usually hold on to her. It's usually a go button for the goats, right? So it's like, if you want them to go somewhere, this is where you also get them. I feel her ligaments. They're still there.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
They are.
And Ragnar's trying to get me, I swear. Look at him.
Alright, you got her.
Oh, you got Ragnar right there, though. Oh, and you got all sorts of goats. We got Red. I'm fighting Ragnar because he's... I don't know what his deal is. He doesn't scare me. He's just a big goat. You know, I'm not like scared of any of these goats. Red is hard to get. There she goes. Okay, you got her, Ev. Good job. So we're gonna check her. We think she was probably one of the first ones to be bred.
Go on.
Oh, her ligaments are soft. So this is kind of, hold on, I'm gonna flip the camera. I can show you where I'm looking. Okay.
Stop.
See where the tailbone is? Right here. You have the tail. And right here, there should be like a triangle kind of ligament. They're soft. They're prevalent though. When they're ready to give birth, they're going to labor, these will go away completely. They'll be completely soft. The other way to check is to see if she has teats. Look at this. Look how deep the mud is.
It's almost as deep as
It's awful. Every time. Okay, labor and delivery room. I have a light and I have a bucket of food. And the puppies did get in it. And a container of water. So I have that available.
Disgusting and frozen.
Well, we'll have to dump it. So I had it ready yesterday because when the kids checked the girls, they had soft ligaments. This morning, Mark went out and checked the girls. They had ligaments. So I was misinformed. However, it doesn't take a lot to have a birthing stall ready for your goats. I just have those. Like I said, when you have a mama goat that just gave birth to either a single or a double or even triplets, which we've had, they need a snack right afterwards, and they need their favorite grasses, and they need their grains, and so on. Look, Sam is just Sam.
Sam's the best puppy.
Sam. I put a pretty healthy amount because I feel like it works better. I don't get it, buddy. All right. I'm gonna do the easier goats first because they're
silly.
and they're just and she just has like.
She hates being held.
Does she? But she like is.
She's like
so sweet. Otherwise.
She just doesn't like being held by the horns.
If I had horns, I wouldn't want to be held by the horns either. Jasmine, be good for me, please.
She's very pretty. And
you need to be good for me. I love you a lot. And that's why I'm taking good care of you. Okay. Let's get the others. Is there a lot of you goat owners who struggle with this, or is this just a climate thing over here?
I think it's a climate thing.
You think?
Yeah.
Get down. It's like a fight every time they're up here in Utah. And then as soon as we take them out in our pasture, it like literally goes away. So this guy though, let's try to get him in the corner here. You stand over there.
Yeah.
Good job. Get down, get out of here.
This is where the puppies poop.
Oh! What in the Sam's? What were you thinking?
What did he just do?
Oh.
Hey, come here!
Trying to get between the fences.
You know you think that. Sam, what are you doing?
Oh, my shoes, gross.
Yeah, that's where they poop. I'm gonna go over here. Like,
Okay. Let's just get it done. Go away.
hey, come here! Check the eyes as well.
One by the eye.
Yeah.
Maybe you're gonna look crazy there.
Sam's pickpocketing you.
What is he getting? What are you getting?
My glove.
Well, we can check her now so you can see she's all bent over just right. You can see
Her tail's
Her-
flagging.
vaginal area, and you'll see discharge when they're ready to give birth. I mean, this is very convenient, Jazzy May. Thank you very much. And you'll see some teats drop in, and she'll be bagged up. Oh, she doesn't like that. But it'll also be whitening. So her vaginal area is pretty closed. When she's ready to go, it'll start whitening, and there'll be discharge coming out. I hope to catch the girls when they start giving birth. I'm really excited for you guys to see. My motto is less is more. When having a ton of equipment around for babies, the more we have gotten involved in the birthing process, where we've watched them, we started helping dry them off, the more we were responsible for those babies. Pay attention.
Sorry.
So when we have had a hands-off approach with the birthing kids, the moms do well, and so do the kids. Where we've had more of an approach where we've gotten involved. In fact, when the kids would help and stuff like that, we've actually had more deaths. We've had more malnutrition because the mom is not attached to their babies. So my motto is less is more. So just kind of watch them, let them do their thing, really giving it a good hour, and then you would know what you need. Whether you need some medication for their joints to see how they get up, or if you need supplements, and so on. But the reason why we have Kikos is because they're naturally great mothers, and they're really great at taking over and just doing what they need to do with their babies. I feel sad because my environment here, it's awful. Like we've had goats drop their babies by the rock before, but that area was always dry, it was clean, and it was fine. Right now, I don't know where the goats would go to go, oh, I feel good about maybe scratching a spot here. So we got to catch them in advance to make sure that they are successful giving birth. I already put this stuff away, but anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. I will tell you what you maybe want to purchase to have ahead of time in case you did, but that's about, like I've said before, I think less is more. So when we got too involved, we had too many deaths, and we lost about a third of our herd. Last year we were completely hands off, and we were able to keep every single baby. So and we didn't have to bottle feed. If you guys have ever had to bottle feed a goat, one, it's not a big deal, but I have a full-time job and so does Mark, and it is a big deal when you add another baby to your household. You have to remember to feed that baby, and you need to get down and make sure you are still successfully having that baby be successful. I personally don't want to lose any goats, but I don't want to gain a bunch of new bottle fed babies either. So it's just, I'm just too busy for that in my life. Yeah, you're gonna eat my shirt. Look at this. He's trying to eat my shirt. Okay, let's go. I'm gonna go get my medicine box and show you what's in it, and then see if that's what you'd like to keep around. Like I said, I think less is more, and maybe some farmers will agree with me and some won't, but we do get more successful in moms and kids if we just leave them alone and let them do their thing. Very rarely have I ever had to get involved, and when I did, it was still not a good outcome. So and some, oh, that snow almost killed me, but some did really well too. Like we bottle fed a few goats and they were successful. So yeah, Jazzy May is one. But last year we had a lot of our goats also give birth on the pasture, which was kind of neat because they taught the baby goats to go hide and stuff, and like they would like stay with them, but then they would go and feed and they would come back to the babies. So it was just like a whole nother environment from dropping them in the pasture versus in my goat pen, which is just sorry right now. It's just an awful goat pen. I would never want this for my goats, but I'm just kind of stuck. I don't have a way to get it bigger, better, or anything like that. I'm planning to sell this house, so I don't want to make the goat pen any bigger, and it's appropriate for the amount of goats that I have. But it's not. Next year you'll see a huge difference in my setup. We do plan, I should maybe make a video and show you all the barn that we're gonna build for the chickens and the goats. It's pretty exciting. And we plan on getting pigs. No cows. I don't think I want a cow. I don't know. I still don't want a cow. I have enough land for it, but I just don't know if I want a cow. When I was 12, I got chased by one. I just don't feel like, I don't know, maybe that's just maybe I need to get over that fear and get the cow, but I don't know. I just don't feel like getting a cow. Anyway, if you want to know that story, it's a pretty good one. So, okay. Maybe I'll let that story down another time. Maybe all my childhood farm animal fears that I had. Maybe we'll have a video just on that if it's requested. Okay. All right. Okay. I had to disinfect my phone because my phone fell on the ground when I was in the goat pen, and it was just really yucky because there's pee and poop from everyone. So I think my phone's good now. I had to change my pants because the dogs jumped up on me so much that I could just smell the goat pee. Yeah, it's a stinky job. I have to change my pants every time. I can't just walk around with the gross clothes all around my house smelling like goat pee. It's just not my thing. Anyway, let's get back to a couple of things. The things that I have in my box, again, it's very, very minimal. There's not very many things that I keep around. So towels are pretty important, right? So when you have maybe an unexpected triplet that doesn't quite take on to mom, you get the twins and you get the third baby. The third baby's always smaller. They're always slower to get up. Most often, you're stuck bottle feeding that baby, or they're not very successful. One time we had Red, who was last year. She actually had triplets last year, but because she goes into labor some crazy time, which I've been meaning to get a baby monitor, something like that. Maybe I'll do that like now, because my goats are still not quite ready. They have maybe a week or so maybe I'll just order one on Amazon. But she had triplets. The two of them just took just fine. And then we didn't tell the kids when we went out there because we knew she was in labor. We put her in the labor and delivery stall. And when we came out there was a third boy. So it was 2 boys and 1 girl. And the boy wasn't cleaned off. The boy wasn't, it just came out. It probably did make some noise when Mark got out there, but it was like late. It was like 6 post hours. So the baby was like severely, it was done. It wasn't gonna, like, you can intervene and you can do all sorts of stuff, but you were gonna do more harm than just let nature take its course. So the triplets, we've never had really good success with triplets in the goats. Like the moms are always like, oh, you're kind of small, you're the weakest link, I'm just gonna let you die. So, and we've intervened on 2 sets of triplets, and one we had this, we bottle fed the little girl, and because she was so cute, but she was such a runt, she was so small. And we bottle fed her, we kept her warm, but the mom kept rejecting her. And we would make the mom have the baby suck on her teats to like, hey, this is your baby, you will like it, you will feed her, and so on. And that was so much work. To hold the mom in place, then to have the baby latch on. It was just kind of, it was just quite a bit. There was just quite a bit to go with. And then she ended up she couldn't even nestle next to her mom. She couldn't nestle to any goats because, again, it's like also like a pecking order with goats as well. So she ended up passing away. Like, she lasted maybe for a couple of days, and then that didn't work out. And then we had another triplet where same thing. The mom didn't clean her off, so we cleaned her off. We got her going. We attempted the bottle feeding, but she was just too much of a runt. Like, there was just no way to get her up to speed. If I know there's a couple of Kiko breeders that watch this video, that will watch this video. If you guys have some tips on how to do triplets and quads, or like what has your goat done to make them successful, I'd like to know, because so far I have not had any success with triplets. I've had doubles and they've done great, but anytime there's a triplet, we usually struggle. So I want to know what your guys' tricks are, and seeing so on. So a couple of things that I have in my box. Again, when we first started, first couple of years, we got really involved, right? Because we thought maybe we had to. So we had all sorts of medicine. We had like, this is our favorite one that we've used because it's effective. It's easy to disinfect it. But there's a bunch of these on the market. You can have small syringes, big syringes, but here it's clear on what you're pushing. 30 mils is usually the general order for formula, colostrum, and so on. Sometimes even the medicine goes up to 5 to 10. So depending on what you need pushed in there. This is another one that is pretty important to have: selenium and vitamin E. This helps the goats kind of start getting up. If their joints aren't quite going for it, they're not moving, they're moving quite slow, and this would be a good one to have. You can have the measurements of how many cc's you want to push, and so on, so you can see what is needed. This is probably expired. I bought this a couple of years ago. I've never had to use it again. Well, is it expired? I don't know, but it's probably too old for me. Like, I'm a nurse for a living, and I know when you use something that's just too old, it's not effective anymore. And no, it's not gonna work. So, and of course I always have LA 200. This is just perfect for pink eye. We keep it around, and we check the expiration quite often. When our herd was bigger, we clearly have a bigger bottle for it. So, but it doesn't expire until year 2025, which is perfect because you probably will need it. And pink eye can actually take out your whole herd, so you got to be careful. You got to catch it in time, and so on. But I have syringes and needles. I have that available. Needles, you always just buy them in bulk. It's the cheapest way, and I just get them at the farm store. And then I have a large amount of syringes, so like, you know, just to where I could connect the needle and either give them a shot, or sometimes these little syringes work for just giving some fluids and so on. So, oh, I forgot to tell this. So this medication also helps with, like, let's say you have a baby that is walking just fine, but their poop isn't solid yet. And they have just a runny diarrhea up their back, you know, like they're still not making little pellets. This helps quite a bit. So, give this to them, and it just helps. And then they start, give them like a ton or anything like that, but it does help solidify their poop. It makes them not, run out like in cows, the scours, I think it's called. In goats, it could be the same thing. So it could dehydrate them. It could actually kill them. So have this available. This one I'm going to throw away. I'm going to just go get some new ones. New one if I need it. Again, less is more. Don't get too involved. But that's just my perspective. Everybody has a different perspective. I come from my experience. I just come with what I need to do. Goats generally do know what to do. If you have to intervene, it's because there was an emergency. And first time moms, you got to watch them, you know, very rarely do they do bad, but we had one mom, she delivered a baby with, and this is probably graphic, but she delivered a baby with all of his guts out. So they weren't closed in. We attempted, this is probably too much information, but we attempted to put the guts back in, and we kind of co-band the belly so we'd maybe not suture it or anything like that. We just co-banded to keep it from not being too tight, but we just wrapped it with like an ace bandage and just kind of keep it in place. And the baby did fine for like a couple of hours, got on the teat and things like that, but then did not do well. We gave it some antibiotic, just a broad spectrum, just to kill, because, well, the baby was in the way oh my gosh, this is probably too much, but we didn't know what to do. First of all, we saw the baby come, and we're like, oh my gosh, there's like the goat, right? And then the guts are out separate. They're just completely separate. And this happens with humans as well. I have a niece who was born with her outsides out, and they use like a turtle shell, right? And they like it fixes it. But in the veterinarian world, like how do you do it, right? But the open area to the stomach was open enough to kind of put it all back. So I washed it with some saline water, which is just clean water, and then we used gloves and everything, and we put it back, and then gave a small dose of antibiotics, got the baby suckling on the teat, and then I think it was just too much. It was too much trauma. It was too much for the baby to handle. It was really sad. Like, and I'm hesitant to even share this story. Like, I don't recommend,
but you can't just call in a vet and say, hey, I got this going on, can you come now? It's sometimes, as a first-time mom, you just don't really deliver, I don't know, put together kids sometimes. It's just maybe she was too young. Maybe as a first-time mom, she was maybe just too, maybe not prepared to deliver children at the moment. She needed to grow more or so on. So you just never know what really the situation was. So anyway, these are just the things that I have around. I don't want to make it complicated. That's one thing. If you once you get to know me, I don't like to redo things or make it complicated or make it hard. One, it's already hard enough to live in the times that we live in. And one thing that you want to do, if you want to enjoy homesteading, there's going to be challenges. Absolutely. Don't take that, but it doesn't have to be the everyday chores, everyday interactions with your goat. It doesn't have to be crazy hard. It just doesn't have to be. It could be simple. You can, and the kind of breeds that you have, just kind of research them. We've had just really good, outstanding goat moms and goat babies with Kikos. So we've enjoyed their breed and we use them for meat. We have a client that buys from us all the time. So, it works for us. What works for you works for you. So eventually we will increase our herd. We will have more goats. We will have more protection on our fencing because we did have a predator last year that wiped out 3/4 of our goats. But we're gonna have it figured out, and watch us, just follow us and see what we come up with. And maybe it's wrong, maybe it's right, and just comment, say what you need to say. And I do take the comments pretty seriously. I think they're really good because there's so many people who know a lot and they've experienced the same thing that we have. I don't like to redo things, I'm just telling you. So I feel like I could learn from others and others' mistakes and so on. So we are excited to move up to our property in May, where that's when we're going. We're going to leave this beautiful, comfortable house I live in. But we are excited for a more simpler life. I'd like to give my children a bigger backyard. That's what I kind of tell them. You get 44 acres instead of 1/3 of an acre. And we have a lot of trails. I'm excited to go biking and hiking and all that good stuff that everybody probably enjoys of having a large homestead.